Good afternoon to one and all present here. I welcome you all for the last session of day 5, and I also welcome on behalf of LNCT MCA our today's speaker Kamlesh Nagavre sir, and thank you sir for sparing your time. Kamlesh sir is Chief Technology Officer at Snapper Future Tech and co-lead Hyperledger India chapter. An active contributor to Hyperledger community as Climate Action and Accounting SIG, Trade Finance SIG, and Hyperledger Global Forum committee member. He is graduated from GS Indore, so definitely we are having a close link with him. With 11+ years of experience in software development and IT consulting in supply chain management, trade finance, telecom billing, and travel and transportation solutions, and 5+ years of experience in blockchain and hyperledger technologies. He actively contributes to the blockchain community development by being part of several hyperledger working groups, speaks in different conferences and forums all over the globe, and also he is the co-lead of Hyperledger India chapter. He is currently working as CTO, blockchain consulting and solutions architecting various blockchain projects, supply chain management, identity management, and government use cases. Previously, he has worked at IBM as blockchain consultant and was associated with various blockchain initiatives such as member of IBM Academy of Technology, mentoring blockchain startups in IBM startups, accelerator program, and also worked as associate consultant in Capgemini. So with such a sound profile, we are very delighted and honored to have you, Kamlesh sir. And really, he's a very humble person. Very quickly, he has accepted our request, and we are really having a great exposure because of you, because of your such a nice experience over blockchain. And we are really honored to have you as expert in this TTP. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mega, and thank you, LNCT. So yeah, so I passed out from GSITS, and even I know all the LNCT groups, whether it is a engineering college in Indore. I never went to any engineering college in the LNCT Bhopal, but I know the colleges in the LNCT group in Indore. That is like there is a Risiraj college, and then there is one Star Academy. So I think all this established. I think LNCT is the early private college in the engineering college space.
It's the first private institute of Central India.
Even I know the founder of Subrata Chokse, sir also. Okay, so and actually it's very exciting because engineering college in Indore and Bhopal are doing such kind of initiative sessions in the trending technologies, because I think I'm the first. I think the first in any engineering college in MP I'm doing this sessions, but this is my daily activities in the other engineering college like in the Karnataka, in Kerala, Maharashtra. Even last Saturday I had one of the sessions, similar session in the MIT University Pune, and from last 4 to 5 years I'm doing this sessions. I think, but first time from the any engineering college in MP. So,
yeah, true, sir.
Can I ask?
Yeah, this is an initiative from our university, MP State Technical University, RGPV, and now AICT has given a nodal center to RGPV. So that's why nowadays we are getting such funded programs, and naturally this is the opportunity to get connected with you.
Yeah, so any reason why the engineering colleges in MP are not up to date with the technology? Because if we go to any engineering colleges in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Hyderabad, all the colleges up to date technology. Even this kind of session, even I have done maybe 2 years before, and here in MP we are doing maybe after a long time when the technology is going to be mature.
Exactly.
So yeah, so let me start my session, and then I think in the future any kind of this kind of session or even help with the this community I'm ready to help. And LNCT is a university, right?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so then maybe I can propose a different model. I think can also help you to. So did you heard about? So can I take a 5 minute before the session?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. No issues.
because there's lots of
No
yeah.
issues.
So do you know about the Kerala Blockchain Academy? Someone someone in the group you are
Yes,
this.
anyone? Sir, your voice is bit low, so I think.
Okay, okay. Is it now is fine or
Yeah,
should I
now it's
send?
fine. Yes, anyone from the audience?
Did you मतलब heard about the Kerala Blockchain Academy? Uh, why I'm asking because this could be the even greater kind of business opportunity for the LNCT group because if the engineering colleges in MP not aware about this trending technologies, then you could become the focus of center. So like this Kerala Blockchain Academy, one of the engineering colleges in Kerala,
Yeah, yeah. I know.
they
I
they started a this kind of blockchain center of excellence
right.
in training, and then even the recently I'm just part of the one of the event in the MIT Engineering College Pune, and they also included the blockchain as a uh, separate degree course in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
curriculum.
Now even RGPV has started a separate BTech program in blockchain. So
Yeah,
it's in its first year only. It's an initial set.
yeah. So there are many training certification and this PGP
Yeah,
programs and lots of universities doing in India and abroad, and
yeah,
lots of universities so much active in the this Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Kerala,
exactly.
Karnataka. So LNCT group can also think about this one, and then this could be the become interesting opportunities for the new business opportunities. So maybe we can talk about this later.
Yeah,
So
sure, sir.
or or like this a hyperledger. So this Kerala Blockchain Academy is a member of the
Yeah,
hyperledger community.
yes.
And then there is one engineering college in Kerala, St Gates. This is a private college, even is it not a university. They are an official member of hyperledger,
Yeah,
and they are doing a lot of things with the
correct.
hyperledger. Okay, so that we can discuss later. Okay. So uh, maybe in the last 1 week session you have gone through all the blockchain fundamentals, maybe heard about the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptography, all the fundamentals. And I think mostly people think blockchain is just a cryptocurrency. Even many people just ask me like is a cryptocurrency is not safe, why should I use it technology, or is risky, because mostly people relate blockchain with only cryptocurrency. But with the hyperledger, or after this session you maybe you will not have comfortable stage like uh, cryptocurrency is just the one use case of the blockchain. There are a lot of more in the technology itself, and cryptocurrency is a one Bitcoin is a one use case only. So in this session, I will going to cover the fundamental of blockchain and specific like DLT, cryptography, distributed systems, and then what is hyperledger, and then how you could get involved with the community. Because as an individual or as a university, there are lots of opportunities, or even you can give lots of new learning to the engineering students. Okay. So, so this is typical kind of how the any transactions being done in the current environment. Like, so transaction is the presence of the trusted third party. So, like suppose this Alice and Bob is doing transaction, and they are depending on this third party kind of like whether it's a regulator, whether it's a when some centralized party. Like for example, if you talk about the banking system, so all the banking system is uh, managed by RBI, or you follow the SWIFT standards. SWIFT is a one private company who provide the payment messaging transfer between the banks. So this is a third party. SWIFT is always regulating and always managing that all the transaction. And with the blockchain, we can remove this third party, and then all the transaction between all the transaction could be one to one between the parties, and there is a we no need a we no need a we no need any third party like Swift or any kind of regulator to manage this kind of transaction and provide the trust. And why we need the third party? Because we don't trust each other. So just take example of a banking application. Like for example, if you are transferring some amount from India to maybe take a country kind of Uganda. So even we personally don't know any bank in Uganda. What is the bank? Whether it's a legal bank or is a fake bank. So for this kind of transaction, generally some third party companies like Swift come in the picture, and they take a risk of the this transaction, this payment transfer, and they cut some kind of fee on the transaction. So that's why this cross border payment are costly compared to the our normal transaction where the we doing the transaction between the Indian banks. Similarly, if you can take example of the any card processing. So for example, if you have any Visa card, Mastercard. So Visa card, Mastercard, even though they are not a bank, they are just private companies to provide this transaction facilitation, and they are charging the some kind of fee. And why these companies are important in the current environment? Because they provide some kind of conciliation or some kind of settlement between the banks. And if we use the blockchain, then this all this kind of third party or intermediary uh, parties could be removed. So this is the overall idea of the blockchain. Okay, so distributed and decentralized. So distributed system, you already aware, like when we have a, I think even we also have a subject distributed systems in the engineering universities. Even I studied 10 years before in the GSITS. There's a distributed system, so we could have a one particular database replicated to the multiple nodes and multiple systems. So that is the existing concept from the long time. There is a no in a distributed system is no new thing, but there is no mechanism to bring the trust, like all the distributed database have a similar copy of the data. So then that's consensus, this agreement kind of protocols come in the picture with the blockchain introduction. And even this consensus protocol is not the new thing. So uh, maybe you heard about the many protocols like raft protocol. Raft protocol is very old, is from, I think from the 1970 1980. So a raft protocol provides some kind of consensus between the participating nodes. So now we know about the cryptography. Cryptography exists from long time. Distributed system exists from long time. This even the consensus mechanisms like raft existing from long time. So then what are the blockchain technologies? So blockchain technology provide the combination of all these technologies: cryptography, distributed systems, and this consensus mechanism together, and then it will provide the uh, trust on the system. And there is an additional layer called smart contracts. So smart contracts is a similar in the word is a contracts which are smart. So contract, like for example, suppose if you're doing some kind of business contract between two parties, like suppose bank and bank B, like if this happen, like suppose if bank A give me 1 crore, then I will give it 4% return to them. This is a manual contract return. And a smart contract, you write this contract in some kind of programming language, and if this contract executed automatically in the system, that becomes a smart contract. So for general purpose, for example, suppose we suppose we have a uh, insurance for our travel insurance, for take example. And if the insurance condition said, like if flight get delayed by 30 minutes, then you will get maybe 10% return of your ticket. This is some basic insurance condition. So, but due to current environment, nobody follows, and even nobody checked with the insurance company, like this condition is not fulfilling. So I want to settlement. I want to I want to refund of my ticket of this amount. But suppose if this kind of contract being deployed in a software, and it automatically check the if flight get delayed by 30 minutes, and it will automatically execute and transfer the 10% of the ticket price to the individual parties for the person flight get delayed. So it's become a smart contract. Another example, for example, in a farming sector, like suppose we have a farm insurance from the insurance provider, and generally in the current situation, like some government authorities come to the farm and then evaluate the conditions, weather condition, and how much actually damage of the crop. And then this insurance settled. But suppose there is a smart contract enabled, and it will automatically check the weather condition, like suppose in this particular area, this, like suppose maybe raining, maybe greater than the normal rain. So it will automatically trigger the contract, and whatever the insurance claim need to be settled automatically. So this is the smart contract. And all this smart contract being used nowadays, where the blockchain application being deployed, whether it's a financial services, whether it's identity management, or whether it's a supply chain kind of solutions. So, and then what is a distributed ledger? So mostly people, so there are two different technology. One is a distributed ledger technology, and another is a blockchain. So blockchain is a, we can say, is a kind of a subtype within a distributed ledger technology. And distributed ledger technology is a general database technology which provide the ledger as a distributed environment. So take example, you have a system where all your databases being replicated across the network. So this is a distributed ledger. And top of that, if you add the smart contract and other kind of features, then it becomes the blockchain technology. So in a blockchain, block plus chain, so where you have all the your transaction being together, comprised in a one chain, one block, and then block added as a chain into the existing ledger. Compare with in the computers computer data structure, like is a kind of linked list. So you are linking every block with the previous block, and in the your current block we have a previous block hash and previous block's transaction number. So nobody can modify the data of the previous block and previous blocks. If someone need to modify the block, then they need to modify the complete chain. So this is the concept of blockchain. So distributed is a append only system. So I just mentioned, so all the transaction being added is a linked list manner. Like suppose that block one come and block two comes. So block two will have the hash of the block one and data hash of the block one. And then block three comes, and block three will have a hash of block two and hash of block two. So similarly, the chain is being created, and if someone want to modify the block number one, first they need to modify the block number three, block number two, and block one. So a complete chain need to be modified in one time, and even this is for the particular one node. And in the distributed environment, we have a multiple nodes having the same ledger copies. So if someone want to modify the data of the any blockchain, they need to modify all the nodes and all the blocks of the node. So take example, suppose we have a 5 node in a blockchain network, and maybe there is 100 blocks. So someone need to modify all the 100 blocks and all the 5 nodes at the same time. And this is not possible in the current computer capacity, computer processing capacities. So okay, some questions. So yeah, we can take question 2. Ma'am, kindly post 14 and 15. Okay, sorry. Okay, so in the current cryptography or current there is no any mechanism, or there is no kind of computer processing limited capacity to change all the 100 blocks and all the 5 nodes in the at the same time. This is could be possible with the quantum computing, and that's why you maybe heard about the blockchain quantum proof. My blockchain is quantum proof. My blockchain protocol is quantum proof. So they will talk about the if this quantum computers being the reality in maybe 5 to 10 years, then maybe the existing cryptography algorithm, like suppose SHA-256 or MD5, all the existing cryptography could be break in a very less time with the quantum computing processing capabilities. But for the same time, there are already cryptography being developed to avoid this kind of situations. So because suppose currently we have a SHA-256, and this is not breakable in the with the current CPUs. But with the quantum computing, if someone can break this kind of cryptography, then maybe there are already being work by the cryptographers to build a new kind of cryptography algorithm to solve such problems. So, so all business participating in a commercial ecosystem need a ledger to contain a record of the. So, so is a basic like so whatever the things we are doing, all is a ledger. Whether it's a database ledger, whether it's a file system based ledger, even we are keeping some information in our mobile system. All is a kind of ledgers. Cryptography is very important for the blockchain. So, so there are four main building blocks in the blockchain. One is the cryptography, where we are creating the hash of the transaction, even hash of the blocks for the purpose. Another is a consensus, where we are agreeing on the particular transaction is valid or not valid, this thing. And then security and privacy. So there are different kind of blockchain. Like there is a public blockchain, there is a private blockchain. So if it's a private blockchain, then every participant in the network should have some their identity, this thing. And fourth is a ledger. So is a database. So that should be that is a database that could be maybe any NoSQL database, any file system database, where you actually storing this block. Okay, so a smart contract we discussed. So the code or any complex program is stored and executed on a blockchain. So, so like I mentioned about the smart contract in two scenarios, whether it's a farm insurance, whether it's a travel insurance, how it's played an important role. And similarly, all the similarly all the business transaction, whether it's a supply chain, whether it's a you booking a ticket or you doing a payment transaction between banks to bank, all is some kind of a contracts, some kind of business logics. And a smart contract is a business logic written in a code which you could run on a blockchain. So like the same example, like imagine a farmer based in San California buys an insurance agreement that protects them from extreme weather condition. If temperature reach more than 100 degrees Celsius for 100 days, they get reimbursed 10,000 USD. Suppose this is a common contracts. So with so currently how all the insurance companies, even whatever the suppose life insurance, whether it's health insurance, after we got admitted in the hospital, we provide some kind of fill the form and then apply to the insurance company. Whether it's a take another car insurance, if you got the car accident, then you need to provide the proof, like at which condition, how much the damage. Someone visit your garage and then validate the actual damage, and then it will pass the claim, and then it will process. It will take 10 to 15 days. Is the with manually triggered contracts. But if the smart contract is placed, then it would automatically measure the temperature from the temperature devices, and then and it will consecutive for the 100 days, then it will automatically do the banking transaction between insurance company to the farmer. So this kind of the smart contract. So, and there could be many such use cases. So take example about the vaccine distribution. Like for example, suppose this corona vaccine being manufactured in Pune, and then it transferred to maybe Delhi, and suppose there is a maybe 40 degrees Celsius is a requirement to maintain such kind of vaccine in a container. But how you validate, maybe how the Delhi government or uh, Delhi hospital validate this vaccine being transferred in the manner and always throughout maintain the minus 40 degrees Celsius temperature. So all is being on trust. Nobody can verify it. But suppose if some temperature measuring device put on the container who is carrying the medicine, carrying the vaccine, and every 5 minutes all this temperature reading and recording being stored in some kind of ledger, some kind of database, and automatically whenever the 50 degrees Celsius temperature, suppose whenever the temperature crosses the 40 degrees Celsius, it will automatically store that information too in the ledger. And when this vaccine reaches to the Delhi government or Delhi hospitals, they can simply check this database, and they can reject or accept the vaccine according to the database. And so all this could be done on the normal database too. But suppose if one company powerful and has the control to this database, they can easily modify these readings where it's crossing the 40 degrees temperature. But suppose this is a blockchain based system or distributed ledger system, and on the what are the readings is being recorded is being shared across the ledgers. Suppose there's a 5 node, maybe one node by Delhi government, one node by this manufacturing company, and one node maybe by the maybe Indian government, or one by the maybe some hospitals. So maybe that manufacturing company can modify the recordings, but other have their separate node and separate database. They can't be modified. So simply the fraud could be avoided. So similarly in the blockchain way, whatever you need the trust and transparency, that could be avoided. So till that any question? Uh, so even we can discuss if you have anything. So we can make it interactive, so it will be helpful for the everyone. You can ask question in chat too.
Yes, any questions, audience? You can put it in the chat box.
So here all the professor from the LNCT group, or is it across the university?
Across the India, all AICT affiliated institutes across the India, and RGPV affiliated institute across Madhya Pradesh.
Okay, so maybe even GSITS people also there or not?
No, there was one call. I don't remember the name, but one person is there from GS who has registered.
Okay.
Sir, okay, right. Sharma sir is there. Sharma sir is working with GSITS.
Okay, okay, Dr. Sharma. I think Dr. Sharma, right? Who is the I don't know, because we 10, 11 years old.
Sir, you want to have a small break? We can have one poll.
Yeah, sure.
You want to continue?
Yeah, we can have a break poll.
Right. Okay. Okay. So this is based on the previous session poll which I have already created. So all the faculty participants, I am launching the poll. Just participate so that there will be a break. I have launched the poll. Hope everyone is getting it. So totally we have around 70 participants who have registered and eligible. And but by chance, like this week, we have started with our new sessions as well. So that's why like people are finding little bit difficult to have the continuing.
Yeah, no problem. So what is this question? Failure deals with the node failure due to software and the failure. So LNCT also issue their own degrees, or they
No,
will
the
be issued by,
degree will be from RGPV, whereas LNCT University issues own degree. That is autonomous course.
autonomous course which are not engineering courses, right? Or is a normal certification or some kind of course?
No, engineering.
Okay, so for those courses, LNCT can issue degree, correct?
Yeah, LNCT University designs own syllabus and issues the degree.
Okay, so I think then I think you can also include blockchain curriculum in your program. So for that even you need help now. So because we here in Pune, with my company, we did some kind of blockchain curriculum design for the universities in Pune, even
Right.
with the Pune
Right.
University. Even this currently working with the MIT Future Skills, this
Correct.
MIT University.
Correct.
And also we have a one product which we are using, which are used by university to issue the degrees and certificates on the blockchain. On the blockchain.
Right.
Okay.
Right, sure, sir. We will, I will communicate your proposal to University Board of Studies and Academic Center. And we are having our head, Mr. Mukesh Narula. So I will just communicate it to him, and he will have a talk with you. We will have a setup of meeting, and then we can move ahead.
Yeah. And other could be maybe being an active member in the Hyperledger. So this, when many universities, I talk about the KBA and the
even we can go for some kind of student chapter kind of a thing. So
yeah, correct. So
that also we can move ahead.
because Hyperledger India lead by me. So even we are doing lots of stuff there with the student community. Even there's lots of mentorship program organized by Hyperledger.
Right.
So, and there are the paid mentorship.
Right.
Okay. So
right, sir. You can continue.
Yeah. So just in my initial statement, there is a blockchain and cryptocurrency, both are different things, and that's why people are confused. Like suppose if cryptocurrency prices goes down and they think maybe blockchain is not worth it, or blockchain's importance is going down, or if anything bad happened with the cryptocurrency, like if maybe all the people know nowadays, like suppose if Tesla founder Elon Musk says something, cryptocurrency prices go down, and people lost their money which invested in the cryptocurrency, and then relate with the blockchain. So for the enterprise world, or is a blockchain technology, so they both are different things. Cryptocurrency is just the one use case, or nothing more than that. So no need to be worry, or no need to be if cryptocurrency is not working. So even cryptocurrency values could be zero. Even I personally not invested anything in the cryptocurrency, but as a technology, I'm from the last 5 years. Even also some people contributed to me some kind of cryptocurrency, but I'm not having any stake. So cryptocurrency is just an application that sits on top of the blockchain, no the other way around. So just forget the cryptocurrency. There are a lot of other things in the blockchain itself. So we will go in the sessions. So now the why business blockchain technologies. So if you forget the cryptocurrency, this tokenization, tokens, this exchanges, then after that there are many things. So the financial services, supply chain, healthcare. So supply chain, I just mentioned the use case about the vaccine distribution. Healthcare is a vaccine distribution or healthcare record. Financial services, your banking system, your bond, your IPO, or any kind of financial system. Even we currently working with prestigious Indian government companies, which are part of this financial services products. So these are the initial use cases other than the cryptocurrency, and there will be many. There will be many. I will show them. So this is not required. So before jumping to the Hyperledger, because Hyperledger is one specific enterprise project or enterprise blockchains for solving this enterprise use cases other than cryptocurrency. Even you can build the cryptocurrency too in Hyperledger, but Hyperledger itself don't have any cryptocurrency. But before jumping to that, I will just give you idea about the enterprise use cases. So suppose issuing a degree certificate on the blockchain is one, vaccine distribution, insurance, banking, supply chain, music rights management, um, even tracking the carbon emissions, or any kind of business application where we need a trust and transparency, blockchain could be applied. Or even the telecom industry, if you're aware, Telecom Authority of India try uses the blockchain to monitor the fake and spam messages comes to the people in India. So there is a blockchain technology based filtering protocol, and if you subscribe for the DND messages, so earlier the DND is also earlier there, but this is not the blockchain based on that time. So if the companies even you subscribe for the DND, but still you're getting the message. But with the blockchain implementation, they could control more privately and efficiently. So telecom use case, supply chain use case, banking systems, all could be blockchain use case. And in the enterprise protocols, there are many different protocols. Like if you heard about the Ethereum, uh, there is a Ethereum, there is a R3 Coda, there is a Quorum, there is a Hyperledger Besu, then Hyperledger. In Hyperledger itself, there are many different Hyperledger protocols. So Hyperledger is a global cross-industry consortium of communities advancing a blockchain technology. So Hyperledger is not any private company. It's a it's a it's a Hyperledger. It's a project from the Linux Foundation, and Linux Foundation is one of the non-profit organization who work in the open source contributions, open source softwares. So Hyperledger is one of the Linux Foundation projects. So this is the Linux Foundation. So Linux Foundations, there is a Linux, Ubuntu, JavaScript, and Cloud, Node.js. All these programming languages is from the Linux Foundation. So Linux Foundation is a one non-profit organization which hosts this kind of open source projects, and Hyperledger is one of them. So we discussed there are different industries applying the blockchain use cases, blockchain implementation. So according to the industry use cases, there are different requirements. So for example, if you're building a supply chain solution, maybe you need a different characteristics of a blockchain. Or suppose if you're building a payment system, maybe you need a different characteristics of blockchain. If you're building an identity management, maybe you need a different kind of blockchain characteristics. Or so simply in simple terms, one programming language can't be fit for all the kind of software development, and that's why we have C, C++, Java, JavaScript, Node.js, Python, Go. There are many such languages, and all the languages similar kind of, but they provide different. Like for example, for Java is a object-oriented programming language, C is a structure one, and there's a VB.NET. Similarly, there are different blockchain project to provide the different kind of characteristic and different kind of features. So in the blockchain, in the Hyperledger itself, there are many such kind of different projects. You could see here. There is a Hyperledger Besu, Hyperledger Bureau, Hyperledger Fabric, Hyperledger Indy, Hyperledger Iroha, Sawtooth. So all these six are different blockchains. So maybe you know the Ethereum is one blockchain. So Bitcoin is one blockchain. In Hyperledger, there are many blockchains. Hyperledger Besu is one blockchain, Bureau is one blockchain, Fabric is one blockchain, then Indy, then Iroha, then Sawtooth. And now all this blockchain provide the different set of characteristic and different set of uses. For example, if you want to building any identity management solution, Hyperledger Indy is the best suited for this thing. Suppose if you're building any supply chain kind of solution, then Hyperledger Sawtooth is mostly people prefer. If you're building some kind of, if you want to run your Ethereum smart contract on a Hyperledger permission environment, then you can use the Hyperledger Bureau. If you want to use the Ethereum itself, but in a permission environment means less. This is not a public blockchain; it's a private blockchain, and maybe created for the your specific organization. So if you want to use the Ethereum in the permission kind of environment, then you can use the Hyperledger Besu. Or even if you need the public and private blockchain both together, you can use the Hyperledger Besu. And there are different libraries or SDKs which provide the development efforts reduce. So if you can use the Hyperledger Aries, Hyperledger Transact, Hyperledger Ursa, Quilt, and then there are some tools. So these tools will provide the different purpose. So if you want to measure the performance of blockchain, then you can use the caliper. If you want to see the how the blockchain data blocks nodes, you can use the Hyper Explorer. It's similar to the Bitcoin Explorer where you see all the Bitcoin transaction. If you want to deploy blockchain, then you could use Hyperledger Celo and Hyperledger Cactus. If you want to integrate different blockchains, so just we discussed, there are many different blockchains. Even Hyperledger itself, there is 6 different blockchains, and similarly there is Ethereum, there is a Coda, there is a Quorum. There are many such blockchain exist. So Cactus is provide this tool or this kind of setup to integrate different blockchains, and this is provide the interoperability, which is a trending topic in the blockchain. And then Hyperledger Avalon. So in Hyperledger Avalon, this is kind of a specific kind of CPUs nowadays from the Intel or any kind of enclave computing. So for example, suppose if you want to run some kind of program, but don't want to expose program to the end user or the computer who are calling it. So you could create some kind of enclave computing, a kind of trusted execution environment, and then you could run your program there, and you just get the output of the program, but not the program data itself. So this kind of privacy mechanisms nowadays, and all this is research kind of project. So Hyperledger Avalon is such kind of product such kind of project which integrate this kind of technology with the blockchain. So suppose if you want to use blockchain plus this kind of technology, whether you just want to show the outcome of the program but not the program itself, called trusted execution environment. So you could use the Hyperledger alone. So there are different kind of Hyperledger programs, projects which you can use. So any question here, or any doubt? So maybe I will help to clarify. You can ask in chat, okay, if something is there. Especially for identity management solutions, support project is Hyperledger and default libraries and tools are. So libraries and tools, you are talking about the software component, right? Like JavaScript, Node, or what? That kind of thing, right? Okay. So, so technically, all the blockchains use the similar kind of languages what we use today. So, okay. So I will answer that too. Okay. So programming languages. So for example, suppose if you're building a identity management, yeah, take example. Suppose if you're building your university issues a degrees on the blockchain, you want to build this kind of system. So this system you could build with any kind of blockchain, but this is a kind of credential kind of thing. Then maybe uh, Indy is the best thing to do this thing, and so you can use Indy. And there is a library Hyperledger Aries. This library integrate with this Indy, and this Indian arrays, you could use the Python, you could use the JavaScript, you could use the Go, or you can use the uh, I think JavaScript, TypeScript, and I think even React.js is also available. So I think for the programming language there is no issue. So for the development purpose, all the existing languages could be useful here. I think except that Solidity, which is new, which nobody teaches in the engineering college, and which is a newly language introduced for the blockchain only, and that is Ethereum use. But except every language you could use here. Suppose if you want to use Java, Hyperledger Fabric, you can use Java. You can see the Hyperledger base, so you could use Java based Ethereum client. In Hyperledger Iroha, this is a C++ written Hyperledger project. So you could use any language first of all. And then another question, can we use Ursa for, okay. So first, so this Ursa library provide the different thing. So actually Hyperledger uses this kind of naming convention. Suppose all these are different kind of names. So this Ursa actually provide, so currently mostly blockchain uses the same kind of cryptography, that SHA-256. But there are many such cryptography algorithms available, and even I think you are academia, but in the real world business applications, every country or every geographic locations has some kind of limitation. Maybe like maybe in China Google is banned, nobody can use Google. Similarly, this kind of cryptographic algorithms governed managed by there are different institutes. There is an institute NIST, which is one of the institute in US, which create the rules and approve the which kind of cryptography used for the which kind of use cases, or for the specific government purposes simply. So Ursa is provide that kind of library if you want to use uh, other kind of cryptography other than the SHA-256, which is by default used by all the blockchain. Then you could use the Ursa. So hope this course is you got right, Madhav. Okay, okay, so simply, so actually, and if you goes the above, just below now, so just let me. If you heard the modular approach, so all the hyperledger has a follow the modular approach, and modular simply relate with the modular kitchen. Nowadays, people understand the modular kitchen. You just have plug and play, like said, I have modular kitchen or modular furniture. You have option to customize your kitchen. You have option to customize your living space. Similarly, in the technology word modular approach, it means you have lots of option to choose what kind of languages, what kind of consensus mechanism, or what kind of technology architecture you want to use, or what kind of the protocol itself. So that's why here in Hyperledger, it's a many different protocols, different libraries, and different tools. And in the Hyperledger labs, there are many, there are 40, 50 different labs available. So this is some ready code actually, which you can use according to your use case. So this is the meaning of the modular. So you could use whatever you needed or require your use case. Like for example, the identity management you can use Indy. Suppose you're building a supply chain, you can use Sawtooth. And Sawtooth itself, you have a different kind of flexibility. Flexibility in terms of the programming language, in terms of the consensus mechanism. So consensus mechanism like proof of work, proof of authority, Raft, Kafka, IBFT, uh, uh, proof of elapsed time, POUT. There are many different consensus mechanism available. Similarly, there are different type of databases. So is a modular infrastructure means you have option is a software implementer to choose which kind of blockchain framework you want to use, or which kind of libraries, which kind of programming, which kind of consensus, which kind of database, and then you can build it. Okay, so now the other question from sir, what relates blockchain and hyperledger? Okay, so blockchain is just the name of technology, and hyperledger is one specific hyperledger, a specific blockchain project simply relate with the database equal to blockchain, and then MySQL, CouchDB, MongoDB, uh, Oracle database is a different kind of blockchain, and uh, Hyperledger is one of them. So blockchain is a technology similar to the database, and Hyperledger is one of the database kind of. So you can got it right. I think this is a very simple language to explain. Ankit. Okay, so simply relate. Blockchain is a broader term, is a technology similar to relate maybe is a programming language, or maybe just call programming language, or maybe database. Or Hyperledger is one of the implementation, like we have MySQL, Oracle, MongoDB, this kind of stuff. Okay, so this thing. So in the now upcoming slides, I will give some basic details about the specific Hyperledger project. So this Hyperledger Fabric is the most used blockchain project in the world, we can say. So if you see, uh, so simply let me take the figures. So 70% all the business blockchain applications are using the Hyperledger Fabric for their implementation. And Hyperledger Fabric is a modular architecture for consensus and membership services. So modular architecture, just a recently brief, like this is the way to customize your solution. Like in the hyperledger fabric, there are three kind of consensus mechanism like Kafka, Solo, Raft, and they are building more. They are building BFT. They are building Hedera Hashgraph consensus service. They are building a Mir BFT. So is a consensus component. You have five different options. So in Ethereum we have only one, like proof of work or proof of stake. People say is going to be adopted. And programming language, you can write your smart contract in a Java, in a JavaScript, TypeScript, Node.js, Go, and database you could use level DB and couch DB. Currently, this our normal relational database, MySQL, Oracle is not supported, but some companies implemented and they support this kind of databases too. This Sawtooth, so Hyperledger Sawtooth is the one, and so frankly, so starting with blockchain, you no need to be expert with all this kind of all the blockchain projects. Similarly, suppose if you learning a programming language, you no need to learn all the languages at the same time, or it's not necessary the one person should know all. Similarly, in this kind of we have many different blockchain projects and protocols. It's not necessary we should know and we should have experience and all. Similarly like the our languages, we may know Hindi, English. It's not necessarily we need to know the Telugu, Tamil, and everything. Similarly, there are, because technology is growing and there could be many, maybe suppose currently maybe 50 plus different blockchains projects platforms available. I can't say the project platforms or frameworks like Sawtooth, Fabric, Indy, Ethereum, Quorum, Coda, like those. So this is Hyperledger Sawtooth, which is initially contributed by Intel. This is contributed by mainly IBM, and mostly people. That's why mostly people say this Fabric is an IBM blockchain, but is an open source project of Linux Foundation. This is Indy, so this is a specific build for implementing a use case for identity management. Hyperledger base. So if you want to use the your if you want to build your solution in a permission private environment, but want to use the Ethereum as a project, because Ethereum provides the tokenization, cryptocurrency inbuilt, and you need such kind of use cases where you want to build tokenization. So then you could use Besu. Okay, so libraries I just mentioned, this libraries Hyperledger, Aries, Ursa, Quilt, Transit, Cactus. So Aries is a library to connect with the Hyperledger and build the identity management use cases. This Ursa simply is a shared cryptographic library that would enable people to avoid duplicating other cryptographic work. So just mention I just mentioned, like, if every country have their different regulation to use which kind of cryptography algorithm they can use. Like there is a MD5, there is SHA, there are RSA, and there are completely cryptography is a different word together. And similarly, blockchain inbuilt have a inbuilt required a cryptography is one of the technology. So currently all the blockchain mostly use the SHA-256, but if you want to use some other cryptographic algorithms, then Hyperledger also provides such kind of libraries which you can integrate with your existing project without rewriting the code or rewriting the effort to enable such kind of cryptography in your existing code. Example, Hyperledger Fabric use the SHA-256, but if you want to use the Hyperledger Fabric but with MD5, so you need to write modify the Hyperledger Fabric source code. But if Hyperledger also provide this kind of MD5 is a one cryptography, then Hyperledger Fabric use this Hyperledger URSA and integrate with the URSA. Then Fabric could be worked to use as the MD5. So this kind of setups. And so and that's why there are lots of research and development, lots of universities being participating in this kind of initiatives, because all this is initiatives or maybe research projects like this quilt. There's a Hyperledger protocol for provide the interoperability with different blockchain protocols, and Cactus is similar to that thing, but this is a work with the different mechanisms. And then Hyperledger Transact. So this is the library. This is a kind of library to write your smart contract in a way which could run on the any blockchain. So for example, Ethereum run only Solidity contract. Hyperledger Fabric run only Java, JavaScript, Node contract, and their specific languages and a specific format. But suppose if you want to run one, if you want to run some programs which could be run on any kind of blockchain. So technically, suppose if you written one your business application for the healthcare application, or earlier they if you using Ethereum, but now you want to use the Hyperledger Fabric, so you should no need to rewrite all the business logics. So if you return your code initially with the Hyperledger Transact, then you can just change the ledger. It's simply relate with your normal software system. And suppose currently you are using the MongoDB. If you want to use CouchDB, you can do it without rewriting your business logic. Uh, so I think this is clear, right? Or any question? No question as of now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So tools. So tools, I think, yeah, I think with the name. So because when you build some applications of software, so how you gonna deploy it, or how you make some work efficient. So for example, if you write your Java application, right? So then you need some kind of Java virtual machine environment, some kind of cloud, or some kind of machine where you can run your code. Similarly, if you return your business, your blockchain application, then how you could run your application. So there's how you deploy, manage, and operate it. So this Hyperledger Celo provides this thing. This Docker, Kubernetes, Swarm, this kind of tools. And another thing, if you implemented some application and now you want to measure the performance, whether they are working correctly or not, or how much the transaction speed you are getting, you could use the caliper. And if you want to see the so let me just let me go show you the how the I'm talking about the Explorer. I think maybe you've gone through in the previous sessions. So like suppose this is the Bitcoin blockchain Explorer. You could see different transactions here, right? This is the latest blocks. This is the latest transaction. Suppose this is the latest block created 2 minutes before. These are some transaction. Uh, so in this block there are 9 transaction. This market route, this version, this difficulty level, or how much the fee going to the who mined this block. Maybe you heard about the mining concepts, this fee reward, and then what are the different transaction in this block. So this transaction, okay, so this kind of so these are the different transactions. So similarly, if I'm talking about this explorer, so because this hyperledger projects protocols is not a public blockchain, so you can't see the explorer which I shown recently. For that you need to build this explorer. So this explorer tool provides this kind of board which I'm showing you. Correct. Then Evelyn I just mentioned is a kind of more security level kind of thing where you want to run some program but don't want to disclose what is the program, how is calculating the such kind of result. You just use to share the result with the uh, who need the data. So these are the some kind of special CPUs, kind of trust, kind of Intel SGX, this CPU from Intel. It will provide this kind of features. And if you want to use this kind of feature with blockchain, then Hyper Avalon could provide those kind of features. So this project for especially built for the supply chain use cases. So I think this is very interesting, interesting place. So if any student or if any professor want to have some kind of idea, because this is the research kind of stuff where suppose for example currently Hyperledger Fabric don't provide the relational database as a database option. So you could work that thing, and they contribute to this Hyperledger labs. And suppose currently Hyper Fabric you can use the Java script, TypeScript and Go. But suppose if you want to provide the Python as a one language, so you could work on that too and then maybe contribute. So this kind of so all the kind of research kind of projects being done here. So you could encourage students to uh, get involved with this kind of stuff. So anything, okay. So we talk about Hyperledger is a enterprise use case, private blockchain, consortium blockchain, permission blockchain, and this all words related to the industry use cases. So because we are not building any cryptocurrency, not tokens, not kind of any uh, DeFi tokens. If you build, we are building a supply chain use case, maybe telecom, or maybe identity management use cases. So for that, there are different industry use cases, and it provides all the spectrum. So technically, so fundamentally, whenever you need trust and transparency in the existing business processes, whether it's a supply chain, whether it's a banking, or whether it is even your educational activities, where you need the trust and transparency, you could implement a blockchain. Industry doesn't matter; it could be anything. So, like some example, like cross-border payments. So, cross-border payments, just when I initiated on the time, I mentioned, like suppose if you're doing transaction between different two countries, and maybe suppose maybe HDFC Citibank knows all over the world, but maybe some local bank, like suppose Maharashtra Bank or State Bank of Indore, uh, or any kind of cooperative banks, they have a net banking, and if they want to transfer money outside India, maybe suppose US, and maybe US don't know such banks, so how they will provide the funds or something. So in the current environment, Swift is the one protocol being provide these features. But if you want to implement blockchain, if all these banks, all the organization come part on the same system, then no need to we need have any third party to evaluate and process the transaction on behalf of banks. Digital identity, so is about Aadhaar card. Like so currently take example, Aadhaar card is a completely centralized KYC. So uh, centralized centralized system. Just 1 minute. So servers being in Delhi or some of the NIC center, but we can implement the blockchain to reduce the fraud or maybe losing the data from the one database. Healthcare records. So this healthcare records is where we are recording our healthcare information. So simply take an example. Suppose current if I just visit only the Apollo hospital, but sometimes I need to go to uh, maybe uh, any other hospital, maybe Aditya Birla Hospital. So Aditya Birla Hospital didn't have any kind of digital information about my previous condition. So maybe they will ask, or maybe they use the physical document, or maybe they will uh, test the perform the testings. So this so healthcare record use cases. So this zero knowledge proof is another new technologies we can say, where you want to prove something but without disclosing who you are. For example, suppose if you want to prove you have salary greater than 50,000 but don't want to say what is exact salary. If you want to prove you have a 18 plus but don't want to prove your actual, don't want to share your actual age. Similarly, if you want to prove you have a valid driving license but don't want to provide uh, actual detail on the driving license. So because because this kind of information is very important, because nowadays Google, Facebook, and all these social media companies are making profits and doing the business on our data. So with this zero knowledge proof technology as the, so there are trending topics nowadays like self-sovereign identity, verifiable credentials, where the user should have control to their identity, their data, and if Google or something is sharing data, they first consent from you and then share, and that could be done by blockchain. Supply chain, simply like food safety, like suppose if you want to, so even for this we also have one product in our company. So if you want to uh, trace the particular product, like suppose this particular food item is being manufactured at this place, and then it may be transferred or uh, sold to the particular consumer maybe after 10 days. So consumers should know uh, like in which condition, who was the farmer. Even my friends companies are having use cases implemented in the Madhya Pradesh, and even in this I think Pratibha Syntax. So that Pratibha Syntax actually having a blockchain implementation for tracking their uh, cloth, whether they are from organic cotton or not. Music and media rights. So this kind of, so because nowadays this is very important. Like if someone create the song, but who actually creator not getting the kind of actual benefit, actual royalty. So this non fungi this NFT art, you maybe heard about it, nowadays this trending words nowadays. Every newspaper have about the NFT. So is kind of a digital form of a token or digital form of a asset. It could be any asset, whether it's your painting, whether it is your real estate. So even there are many use cases. Even uh, you heard about like different state governments in India implementing a real estate uh, land registry on the blockchain. So even we work with Telangana government and Andhra Pradesh government in our case study published in the Harvard Business Review. So I can share that link if you need. So there are many such implementation. So whatever the industry you think there could be uh, trust and transparency required, blockchain could be implemented. So any question? Then I will talk about this 5-10 minutes. Then we can close. Any question here?
Any questions? I think you can continue, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is about the enterprise blockchain, basic about the blockchain, and then different hyperledger technologies, hyperledger projects, and then use cases. And this hyperledger is an open source community. So open source means there is no any fee involvement. There is no any kind of restriction to use the software or getting involved in the community. So here you can involve uh, as a regular meeting join, or maybe contribute some code, or maybe use the technology, use the software. And this is the 5-year journey of Hyperledger. So like this 5 years since launch, 16 projects. So in the Hyperledger we have 16 different projects like Fabric, Aries, Indy, Ursa. And out of this, 4 is a total, 5 is a production ready, means companies can use directly in the production. And there are different training and certification courses. So 9 courses, and most of the universities or this training institutes are offering these courses, and they are making a good business model. And this 16 active community working groups. So like whatever the use cases we talk, right? So supply chain, identity management, banking, uh, trade finance. So for this purpose, there are different working groups or SIGs. SIG is special interest group, to promote and encourage the adoption and bring the community who are building on these use cases. So there's separate 16 groups. There are total 170 meetups worldwide. So across the globe, there are 170 different meetup organizers. Even I'm the one of the meetup organizer for Pune and Mumbai. So similarly, if there is a no meetup, I think there is a no meetup group in Pune and Indore. So maybe if any academic institute or maybe any company could start and being part of it. And total 70 plus thousand meetup participants. Yeah, 70K. And this 4 regional chapters. So like I'm leading the Hyperledger India chapter. Similarly, there are other regional chapters like Italian chapter, Brazil chapter, US chapter, and total 80 countries reached so far. So in the total 80 countries, there are some kind of representative in Hyperledger, whether it's a meetup group or something. Or these are some special interest group like healthcare, social impact. So if you are building any technology in the source, like suppose maybe vaccine tracking or any kind of, suppose even donation tracking, take example, or maybe government use cases. So this one, capital markets is related to the financial services, telecom, climate action. So if using the technology to provide solution in the climate action and accounting, or any kind of solution which will help to reduce the climate footprint. So there's a separate group for that one. The trade finance, where the this buyer supplier come in the picture. For that, there's a separate group. Supply chain, the separate group. Educational architecture. So this is where here is a many universities or many the companies who are building such kind of solution related to the education, whether it's a degree certificate or some kind. Even there are many use cases in the education industry other than the degree certificate. And then public sector, where such use cases in the government sector. So this above, this is the social interest, special interest group, sector groups we can say. And there are some kind of technical groups, because technology is growing. There lots of things are happening. So always new minds or new research required. So there are different groups like this technical steering committee. This technical committee decide and drive the blockchain adoption, and the driving the what kind of new features should be supported. There is a smart contract working group. There is an architecture, if suppose some particular architecture need to change. Then technical working group China, this is because in the China maybe they want some kind of specific changes in the code that they are doing it. There's an identity working group. There's a learning. So this is very interesting for the all the universities and the educational people. So here all the learning and development material working group, all the learning and development materials available, and they are building and they are promoting it. And then this is a performance and scalability working group. So because technology is new and there are lots of things happening, so there is a focus to uh, for the performance and scalability. So for the separate group, and there is some separate, because it's an open source kind of community. So there should always some kind of diversity. Like suppose we should give equal opportunity to all the people, whether they belong to the rural area, where they belong to the even there is a gender equality too. So this kind of thing. And all the hyperledger projects are there properly good document which you can refer. Even this hyperledger projects, this is translated in the different languages: English, Chinese, Portuguese, Japanese, Malayalam, Spanish, Russian, Tamil, and French. So yeah, so you could getting involved with this kind of initiatives. Okay, so anything else? Or I think we have 5-7 minutes. We can discuss if you have something.
Yes, any open discussion is there. Even there are some faculty members from the different institutes. So like sir has given certain proposals. So even at any institute level, if anyone has any doubt, so you can please go ahead. We are having 5 to 7 minutes.